Where on earth is Bitcoin going next? So currently we've been in a raging bull market for over 2 years. People are making out like they haven't had an opportunity to make a lot of money. But you have. It's 6x'd, maybe 7x'd from the bottom at 16k. But that's not the point. Currently we're going down. We're at 116k. And liquidation heat maps are telling me worst case we could go to 106k. Everybody might think it's over at that point and then maybe we fly higher. But I don't think that's realistic, I'm going to be honest. Especially with global liquidity ticking upwards. I think 113k is more likely. Because it looks like we've had this rising wedge, now we're going downwards. And I think 113k looks like a good region to bounce off of. Now, global liquidity versus Bitcoin. Have we got a graph for that? I feel like usually these graphs are horrific. But this one isn't too bad. Because look, usually Bitcoin lags global liquidity. So it cools down as it either goes down. It's got like a 75-day lag. And currently the global liquidity M2 supply is flying higher. Which means Bitcoin should and usually does follow. Now we're still in neutral, which makes us extremely bullish at 116k. That's mad. But we're getting closer to the top. That's just a fact. Especially with Trump posting things like this. Like on the charts. He's making people go on the internet, buy stocks, buy crypto. Apparently an insider from one of the largest Bitcoin mining pools just mentioned Casper. That's mad. That's important. That could be good in the future. But today, 4.9 trillion in stock and ETF options expire. That usually causes a lot of volatility, and we could see a decent enough crash. That's usually what happens after these options expire. But the wealth divide is increasing, and US private sector financial assets relative to GDP. This is mad, bro. I can't believe the poor are going to get poorer and the rich are just going to get richer. When financial assets grow far faster than the real economy, asset holders' wealth concentrates whilst the working class is left behind. The wealth gap is widening at a rapid pace. Some people do think it's over already, but it needs to break this trend line for you to have some sort of bias. Whilst it's in here, it does look like a massive rising wedge. But what if it goes to the upside? You need to let the chart give you a confirmation at least. Because usually it's bullish. Weekly stochastic RSI has crossed upwards. That's usually a good sign. But everything is overvalued. Even worse than the 2000 dot-com bubble levels. So if you haven't taken any profits, that may be a consideration. The top 1% of US earners have now more wealth than the entire middle class. Bro, it's just getting worse and worse. That is actually a madness. Credit card debt is piling up. But it looks like we're heading to an alt season. And I believe, especially with the Dogecoin ETF, which has launched, by the way, and nobody's even talking about it, a Dogecoin ETF, and it's not even giving us mass euphoria. Loads of people cared about the Bitcoin and the Ethereum one, but nobody cares about the Dogecoin one. This is a meme coin, Brody. It's a meme coin, man. Whales acquire 158 million Doge. I know it's very, very cheap, but still, this could go crazy, bruh. This could be the start of something special, but it could also be over. I think we're going down and then we're going to go up. That's my bias, though. Anything can happen. Take profits all the time. I did yesterday. In my chat, I show that I take profits, bruh. I ain't the smartest guy in the world. I'm also baiting people out like this scammer on YouTube because they all want you to fail. But look, I took some profits, bruh. I don't care, bruh. I'm here to make money. Some of you lot are here to play and trade with emotions, bruh. I listen to no one, no Twitter frauds, no YouTubers. I make my own plays. If I think a project in crypto or stock is good enough based on my research, I buy. But if not, and I don't pick that smelly crypto stock, it's usually trash or it rugs if I don't pick it. Make your own decisions and you'll never know when to sell. Probably why I'm profitable. And another tweak that I'm going to make, I mentioned this in my previous video, stop losses, bruh. Don't get cooked because you haven't put a stop loss on. Don't be that guy. I've made that mistake. It wasn't the biggest of mistakes. I kind of doubled down. But still, you can't be half this market. You don't want to half... You get what I'm saying? You want to take it serious, bruh.